It was July of 1944 when 27-year-old Irene Morgan decided to challenge the system that was keeping the races separate, known as Jim Crow laws. Morgan, who was recovering from a miscarriage at her mother's home in Gloucester County, decided she was well enough to return to her job and her home in Baltimore. She hadn't been on the Greyhound bus long when a white couple boarded and the driver asked Morgan and the woman sitting next to her to give up their seats. Irene Morgan describes those history-making minutes in detail in a 1995 documentary titled You Don't Have to Ride Jim Crow.
The white passengers got on, and the bus driver told me that I would have to move. There were no seats at all there, and I refused to move. And that's when he got off the bus, got the sheriff, and the sheriff came in and said, "I'm going to arrest you." And I said, "That's perfectly all right." Then he asked the girl in the seat next to me to move. The girl had her baby in her arms, about 5 or 6 months old. And she was going to Ardmore, Pennsylvania. And she started to get up to move. And I snatched her back because I'm wondering, where are you going? I said, "Where are you going with that baby in your arms, you know?" And then he handed me this piece of paper, supposed to be a warrant. So I just took it and tore it up and just threw it out of the window. So then when he put his hands on me, to arrest me, well, I was furious with him at the time, and that's when I kicked him. I started to bite him, but he looked dirty, so I couldn't bite him. But anyway, he was bowed over. He was really in pain, so he couldn't do anything, so that he got off the bus. He was turning all colors. He got off the bus, so then his deputy sheriff came.
This time, Morgan was arrested. She was found guilty of resisting arrest and violating Virginia's Jim Crow law. The NAACP filed appeals on her behalf, but the Virginia Supreme Court of Appeals ruled against her. The U.S. Supreme Court would hear the case next. The result was a landmark decision ruling that Jim Crow laws did not apply to interstate travel, but Virginia and the other southern states ignored the ruling. Decades would pass before it was enforced. Listen carefully and you'll hear Irene Morgan's name in the lyrics of this song about Jim Crow. While Irene Morgan's case inspired activists, including the Freedom Riders, to use interstate buses for their nonviolent demonstrations, her fight against segregation didn't earn Morgan the credit she deserved. But two groups in Gloucester County want to change that. Carolyn Lemon, who works with the Black History Committee and the Friends of the Gloucester Library, says it all takes place the first Saturday in February.
There's a marker commemorating what she has done for the county and for the country. And so this marker is placed on Route 17 and Hook Road. And on Saturday, February the 1st at 10 a.m., they're going to unveil this marker, and we've invited dignitaries from the county and the state, and we're trying to involve as many people as we can to know more about Irene Morgan, because she's not as well known as Rosa Parks.
While Morgan lived most of her life in Baltimore and then Long Island, she returned to Gloucester County to live out her final years in 2000. Morgan was awarded the Presidential Citizens Medal a year later. The citation read, "When Irene Morgan boarded a bus for Baltimore in the summer of 1944, she took the first step on a journey that would change America forever." Irene Morgan passed away in 2007. For Another View, I'm Lisa Godley.